I never thought I'd see the day someone tried to bill me for shade, but that was before Patricia moved in next door. I'm Gregory Patterson, retired insurance adjuster, peaceful porch enthusiast, and, apparently, shadow thief. It all started when Patricia, our new HOA president, built what she called a meditation tower in her backyard. It looked more like a giant suburban monument to overcompensation. The thing was so tall, it blocked the sun on my porch every afternoon. At first, I didn't mind. Texas heat? I'll take free shade. But Patricia had other plans. She slipped passive-aggressive notes under my windshield. Enjoying the complimentary shade? Please consider a usage fee for shadow occupancy. I laughed. She wasn't joking. One day, I got an actual invoice for $47.33 from something she called Garrison Property Services. It had fees like shade density and photon displacement. My friend Martin, a retired lawyer, nearly choked laughing. Then she got serious. Filed an HOA violation for unpermitted enjoyment of indirect structures. Tried to install a coin slot on my porch chair. Then hired tree trimmers to cut off shade supply altogether. That's when Martin and I started fighting back. We documented everything, brought in a surveyor, and found out Patricia's meditation tower broke several building codes. Turns out, I wasn't her only target. She'd also billed neighbors for barbecue smells and wind disruption from their flags. At the next HOA meeting, she gave a PowerPoint presentation called Monetizing Unused Spatial Resources. Her expert witness was her cousin, who had a fake legal certificate and thought my birdbath was a solar panel. The board was in stitches. Martin stood up and asked, "Are you trying to charge people for the absence of light?" She fired back, "It's not absence of light. It's presence of shade." It only got worse when she claimed I was using solar panels to profit off her shadow. The photo she brought? Yep, still the birdbath. We took her to court. Patricia argued that shadows were limited communal resources and tried to introduce something called the unified theory of shade jurisprudence. The judge, stone-faced, asked if she was attempting to monetize sunlight. Martin walked to a window and said, "If she's right, this courtroom owes her rent for those shadows right there." Game over. The judge ruled against Patricia. Her tower was ordered torn down. She owed me $20,000 in damages and was permanently banned from HOA leadership. Oh, and the HOA discovered she'd been selling shadow rights online as an investment opportunity. She's moved to Austin and gives talks on shade equity to confused retirees. As for me, I bought a new porch swing, a premium coffee maker, and hung a wooden sign that reads, "Shadow-free zone. No rent required." This lease upon any breach of terms, including but not limited to harassment of the landlord by HOA officials. The room erupted in confused murmurs. Patricia grabbed the document and started reading frantically, her face growing paler with each paragraph. "This can't be right," she whispered. "Does this mean we've been squatting?" "Not squatting," I corrected with a slight smile. "Renting, though I notice you're 3 days late on this month's payment. Technical breach of contract, but I'm willing to overlook it this time." Board member Sandra Williams raised her hand tentatively and asked, "How much have we been paying in rent?" $1,100 a month. I replied, "Though I've been thinking it's time for an increase, market rates and all that." Patricia tried desperately to regain control of the situation. She claimed the lease was outdated and probably not legally binding anymore. I pulled out my phone and played a voicemail from the HOA treasurer from 6 months ago confirming the automatic renewal of our lease agreement for another 5 years. Then I opened the second folder I brought, the one containing my new lease proposal. "Rent's going up to $2,200 a month," I announced. "That's still below market rate for a space this size. And I'll need a say in how often these dusk harmony patrols happen on my property. Also, the harassment needs to stop immediately or I'll be forced to find new tenants." The board members looked at each other in panic. Losing the clubhouse would mean finding a new meeting space, which in our area would cost at least $3,000 a month, and that was if they could even find one. Patricia voted against accepting the new terms, but she was outnumbered 5-1. The other board members were suddenly very interested in keeping their landlord happy, But I wasn't quite done yet. I'd prepared one more document, a proposed amendment to the HOA bylaws. There's one more thing, I said, pulling out the final paper. I'd like to propose a new rule. Any HOA official who issues more than 5 violations in a single month must attend a mandatory fund committee meeting. Dress code for said meeting is a full flamingo costume. Board member Williams actually laughed out loud. I second that motion. That's ridiculous, Patricia shouted, her face turning an alarming shade of red. You can't be serious. I pulled out the violation notices she'd filed. Patricia, according to these records, you've issued 17 violations this month alone, 6 of them to me. The vote was unanimous with Patricia abstaining in protest. The next HOA meeting was one for the history books. Patricia walked in wearing a full pink feathered flamingo suit complete with a cardboard beak that kept slipping down her nose. The costume rental place had really outdone themselves. She tried to maintain her dignity as she said through gritted teeth, "I'm here to discuss the new mailbox decoration guidelines." I stood up and clinked my glass to get everyone's attention. Actually, we're changing tonight's agenda. As the property owner and fund committee chairman, I'm declaring this a mandatory ping-pong tournament. Losers have to go door-to-door complimenting every single yard on Maple Street. The residents erupted in genuine applause. Someone had already set up the ping-pong table I'd brought from my garage. Patricia lost in the first round to 9-year-old Emma Chen, who was wielding a Hello Kitty paddle with devastating effectiveness. The kid had a killer serve, but Patricia's humiliation wasn't complete yet. Over the next few weeks, as she continued her reign of petty terror, more consequences began piling up. The city received multiple complaints about an HOA president harassing residents and trespassing on private property. The real estate board launched an investigation into her professional conduct after several homeowners reported she'd been using her HOA position to pressure them into listing their homes with her. The final straw came when she tried to fine me for the new string lights I'd added to my garage, claiming they violated the amended rules she'd pushed through in a secret emergency session. What she didn't realize was that holding HOA meetings without proper notice was actually illegal under state law. I filed a formal complaint with the state HOA Oversight Board, complete with documentation of every illegal fine, every instance of trespassing, and every violation of state HOA regulations. My lawyer, who happened to be my poker buddy, was more than happy to take the case. The investigation was swift and thorough. Patricia had violated at least 15 different state statutes governing HOA conduct. The fines started at $500 per violation. When they tallied everything up, she was looking at $7,500 in state fines alone. But that was just the beginning. The homeowners she'd illegally